Restoration prose. The Restoration period in English literature was marked by a diverse range of prose writing that reflected the cultural and political shifts of the time. This era, which followed the English Civil War and the interregnum, witnessed the resurgence of the monarchy under Charles II. During this period, several key developments in literature and intellectual thought emerged, shaping the future of English prose. The Restoration era saw the publication of significant political and philosophical works. Thomas Pratt's History of the Royal Society in 1667 exemplified the rise of empirical science and set the stage for future scientific endeavors. William Temple, after his political career, wrote bucolic prose works that celebrated retirement, contemplation, and a direct connection with nature. His reflections on ancient and modern learning brought the debate between the ancients and moderns into English discourse. John Locke, a prominent philosopher of the era, penned many of his philosophical works during the Restoration. His two treatises of government laid the groundwork for Enlightenment thought and influenced the American Revolution. Restoration literature was often intertwined with Christian religious themes. While religious writing persisted, it became more moderate compared to the strident sectarian writing of earlier times. Authors like John Milton were forced to adapt or withdraw from public life. Radical groups that had opposed monarchy and played a role in the regicide of Charles I, such as the Diggers, Fifth Monarchists, Levelers, Quakers, and Anabaptists, faced suppression. Notable religious works from this era include John Bunyan's allegorical masterpiece, The Pilgrim's Progress, and Isaac Walton's introspective, The Complete Angler. Even scientists like Robert Boyle contributed to devotional literature with his meditations on God. The Restoration period also saw the emergence of professional and periodical journalism in England. Prior to this, broadsheets were the primary means of disseminating news, often with partisan accounts of events. However, the late 17th century, around the time of William of Orange's ascension to the throne in 1689, marked the beginnings of newspapers in England. This development coincided with William's arrival from Amsterdam, where newspapers were already in circulation. While it's challenging to pinpoint the exact beginning of the novel in English literature, long fiction and fictional biographies started to emerge as distinct forms during the Restoration period. England was influenced by the romance fiction tradition from France and Spain. Works like Ludovico Ariosto's Orlando Furioso inspired prose narratives filled with themes of love, danger, and revenge. Gauthier de Costes novels were popular during the interregnum and beyond. Aphra Behn, a significant literary figure of the Restoration era, played a pivotal role in the rise of the novel. Her contributions to fiction writing and her pioneering work in English literature continue to be celebrated. In summary, the Restoration period in English prose witnessed a fusion of religious, philosophical, journalistic, and fictional writing that reflected the complex socio-political landscape of the time. These diverse literary endeavors laid the foundation for the development of various literary forms in subsequent periods. Samuel Pepys and John Evelyn. Samuel Pepys. Samuel Pepys was an English diarist and naval administrator who, despite lacking maritime experience, rose to become the chief secretary to the Admiralty under Kings Charles II and James II. His influence and reforms at the Admiralty played a crucial role in the early professionalization of the Royal Navy. Pepys's extensive private diary, the Diary of Samuel Pepys, spans from 1660 to 1669, serving as a valuable primary resource for the English Restoration period. His diary combines personal insights with eyewitness accounts of significant events like the Great Plague of London, the Second Dutch War, and the Great Fire of London. Pepys possessed a gift for succinctly capturing scenes and people with vivid descriptions. For instance, he portrayed his Aunt James as a poor, religious, well-meaning, good soul, talking of nothing but God Almighty, and that with so much innocence that mightily pleased me. He also described his sister Paul as a pretty, good-bodied woman, not over thick, but full of freckles and not handsome in the face. Pepys had a knack for vividly conveying extraordinary scenes, such as the unexpected arrival of General George Monk's soldiers in the city, proclaiming the need for a free parliament. He wrote, Bow bells and all the bells in all the churches as we went home were ringing. It was past imagination, both the greatness and suddenness of it. His diary documented pivotal moments, including the Restoration and Coronation, the horrors of the plague, and the Great Fire of London, even as his own home was threatened with destruction. John Evelyn. John Evelyn was an English country gentleman and author of 30 books covering topics such as fine arts, forestry, and religion. His diary, kept throughout his life, serves as a valuable source of information on the social, cultural, religious, and political aspects of 17th century England. John Evelyn's diary, first published in 1818 under the title Memoirs Illustrative of the Life and Writings of John Evelyn, provides insights into the 17th century England. Although Samuel Pepys's diary, published in 1825, gained more recognition, the publication of Evelyn's work partly prompted Pepys's attention. Evelyn's diary entries date back to 1640, when he was a student at the Middle Temple, and continue until 1706. While it claims to be a memoir, it adheres less strictly to daily entries. Many entries before 1683 were compiled later from notes and occasionally reflect the benefit of hindsight. Some descriptions, especially during his travels, may relate buildings or art anachronistically, indicating the use of other sources at a later time.